So this whole cruise, I've had a burning question in me, and we'll see if I can remember it now that I'm up here, but I was sitting over there like, I need to figure it out, and finally I'm like, I'm just going to relax. And the thought that came up in my head right before I got up here was, you know what? Hi, friends, I just want to come up and have fun and see if I can get up there and just let it go. And that's when it happened.
So that's a clue. In other words, when you have an experience like that, words don't teach, but that experience does, you felt yourself come into alignment, didn't you? Didn't that answer the question too? Good, get out.
That's all.
I just had the same thought.
Good, get out. Do you have something you want to talk about?
I do, just a little, let's chew on something. I get it, I'm there, like it's all clicking. I just want to have fun with you and take thought beyond that which it's been before. I've had, a passion of mine is filmmaking and storytelling. And for 7 years Because that's who we are. This is a story-based universe, right? The ancient Greeks knew this, and the fact that we went there and kind of saw their stories in relation to ours. I don't know, there's just this powerful energy associated with storytelling.
Well, you understand that by telling a story that you believe, it's no longer fiction, it becomes reality. So you're wanting to tell stories that you want to become reality?
Yeah. For me, at an early age, the first film that I saw was the first time that I really felt connected to source. It was just a download of awe and wonder and serendipity, all these positive energies just rushing through you, and there's no greater feeling
especially today with all of the technology and possibilities. There are few limitations to having a vision and being able to portray it in a way that others can see it. It represents the ultimate in creativity, because all these hours that we spend together, we're talking about how life causes you to form a vision that sometimes you can't even get a clear picture of. But as the vision that you've put together begins to take shape, and these thoughts turn themselves to things where they come out where others can see them, that's the deliciousness of being in this time and space, is that what you've gathered up can become a reality that others can see. And so this filmmaking represents that better than anything else that you could point to, in that you can conjure the vision from start to finish, which means including all of the movement that you wish for in those who see your film. And then you can create something that then accomplishes that movement. It's like you're creating a film in order to satisfy creating the film, but in the creation of the film you satisfy that other intention to create, which is to help people see what you see.
Right. It's been a practice of, Esther calls it the magic. And for me, the magician archetype is very prevalent in this kind of art. You're kind of a dream weaver, right? You're kind of bringing all these kind of cooperative components together, audio, lighting, dialogue, and stuff like that.
We didn't quite get it out there in the way that we really want you to hear it. Everyone is making a movie, and all of them, everyone, if they come to understand the way the universe works and what their guidance system is telling them, can create the movie. The outcome will come out where they can experience it. And so within that understanding, now you are wanting to replicate the way the universe works by getting a vision and attracting all of the cooperative components so that it can come out where others can see it. So it's like a shortcut. Most movie makers sort of squander the most important part of that, which is the demonstration of how the entire universe works. Making a movie can be a literal demonstration of the way the entire universe works. Think about that. You've got some ideas, you've been gathering them for a while, they're in your vortex, they've been spinning around. You're tuned in, tapped into your inner being, you're high on life, you feel really good, you get inspiration, which is your glimpse of what you've got going on in there. Other cooperative components come, You have a glorious time, just a great time, having so much fun and pleasure and joy and love with the people that come and play with you, so that it's a life-giving experience. And then at the end of all of that, you spit something out which represents all of those harmonics. And most who watch it have no idea of the importance of the creation that they're watching. They just go tuned in or not tuned in alignment or not in alignment. They're doing some of all of that. But really, it's irrelevant what anybody else thinks about it. It's only irrelevant the joy that you have in the process of it. And if you really have a good time, so many will like it, because they're all looking for an understanding of what you're going to need to understand in order to do it.
The theme, I've been searching for a theme, something to explore. And for me, the idea of the apocalypse or judgment day. If you look at,
I make my movie like I make my life.
Well, here's the thing. If you look at the stories from across our culture, everyone's fascinated with the end of times, right? And for me, it's not so much that they're going to end, but it's the end of a cycle of oppression, and it's.
We would only go along with you on that as long as at the end, instead of it saying the end, it says the beginning.
Exactly. So I wanted to see if you can we can coax some sort of how to deal with judgment, right? This idea of judgment day, like we're being judged. I think that if you look nowadays throughout the world, people left and right, you call them clumps, right? If for your sexual orientation, your gender, your ethnicity, there's always people who are judging you. So I'd like to explore that theme in a way that the universe can just kind of flow and actually reveal.
Well, you don't want to take judgment out of the equation, because step one involves variety and choices. So maybe rather than calling it judgment, call it choices. What you're really talking about is step 5ing your way through life.
So if you have because I've worked with kids who feel judged and oppressed, right? What would be the best hero's journey to take that character and to show them that they're not, right? That they are, they're the creator of their own reality. What would be, from Abraham's perspective, the best journey?
All we will say about this, because lots of ideas will flow, and when you hit upon something that is viable for you, you will know it. But these are the words that if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be offering to ourselves on a really regular basis. I want this film to be vibrationally accurate, because if it is, in every part of it, not just in the way you approach it, and not just in the way you choose the cooperative components who will play with you, but in the writing of the story. There are so many films that get down the road and present something that isn't vibrationally accurate. In fact, almost all films are that way. And so no one gets any real sense of how anything really works. So just decide that the characters in your film will have some awareness of their own guidance system, that they will be making deliberate choices that then represent the way their storyline goes. And it doesn't matter which way the storyline goes, as long as early on in the film, the person who is watching it understands that each character is writing his own part, and that the way it unfolds must be vibrationally accurate to the way this character has been shown to feel.
That's enough.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, what fun you will have.
Thank you for having me again. All right, so I'm wondering, when you set an intention and you have your vortex in the sphere of a
When do you think that is? When do you think you actually did the setting of the intention?
On a moment-to-moment basis.
When do you think that was? Moment to moment, but what phase of the creative process were you in when you set that intention?
Step 1.
Yep.
So if we look at a company, for instance.
A what?
A company, an organization, and you have the head of the organization, CEO, director, whatever, they set an intention for where the company wants to go. My question is, how does the vibration of everyone else in the organization impact that director's or visionary's intention?
If that person believes that they are the one setting the intention, then they are misunderstanding the true power and dynamics of their company. because every person involved, every person employed in the company, or every person or entity interacting with that company is having step one moments and setting intentions for that company. And so a true leader is tuning to the creative vortex that the co-creative partners have established. They're not only trying to satisfy their own singular intentions, because usually when you think about it, those intentions, those kinds of thoughts often are knee-jerk responses, and so they're usually not under the influence of source, where if you step back a little bit and you think about all the people who work there and all the people who play with the company, which means all the clients or the customers, everyone, all the suppliers, and you think about how all the interactions have caused lots of launching of lots of vibrational rockets of desires, and that the true company exists in a vibrational format which any leader would do really well to feel the vibe of, to discover, to get into the receiving mode of. Anybody who thinks that they alone are setting intentions for anything is missing the whole point of the human mass consciousness collaboration that we are all about. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. It is a matter of co-creation as opposed to one singular dictatorship wave.
Yes. Imagine how wanting a singular dictator would be.
Oh, it's amazing.
How could they possibly have enough breadth in their experience to lead? It's already been led by the masses, and now someone who gets in sync with the request. Not just the requests, the clarified, the filtered, the purified requests, the requests that have bounced through the ethers, that have been tended to by all the inner beings, the perfect expansion already having taken place vibrationally. And now all you got to do as any participant, especially the head of the company, all you got to do is feel the vibe. It puts find a need and fill it in a whole new place, doesn't it? Find a desire and meet it. Yowza dowza do.
So now, kind of as a segue from this, looking at over history, looking at a lot of the amazing places we visited, and looking at whether it was in Spain with Franco or Germany with Hitler, these dictatorships happened as a result of a need that was eventually filled by one person. Or how does that come about where one person can influence so many people in a negative fashion?
Because thoughts are powerful, because it doesn't matter whether you're under the stream of influence of your inner being, which is that vortex we talk about, or something else. Thoughts gather together in rivers and streams, but we want to help you feel with us the difference in the leverage of aligning with your inner being and the inner being of others, as opposed to hanging out there in your anger or in your fearfulness. You can gather a lot of people together who are afraid just like you are, and you can create a big cluster of them that give the appearance of making a lot happen because they're usually very noisy. Or you can connect with your own source and find out what true leverage is. And we want you to know, if being disconnected from source were as powerful or even as close to as powerful as your question sort of implied a little bit, all that you know here would have ceased to be long ago. But it will not cease to be, because the true power is in the well-being. You have a really good recycling process. People can pinch themselves off pretty good, and then they reemerge into non-physical, and they have a different point of view. And all the new coming in have a different point of view, and all the beasts of your planet have a different point of view, and all those like you who are finding alignment with who you are. The true success is joy. And we know it looks like people are getting some stuff done, and we are not denying that they are. We're just asking, what does that feel like?
Great. Thank you.
Enough? Yeah.